Alrighty then, so just a quick thing. I thought might as well do a little snippet of the genealogy tree for Willow Creek while I'm here playing for a second. So this is the original king. He was already an elder when I made him. So he's KF King's father. And him and his wife gave birth to three children, which is the first king that I played as, which was King Zayden. He's now Queen Father because he gave up the throne when he turned into an elder. And he had two younger siblings. One was Duchess Nala, and then who was married to Duke Javion. And the youngest sibling was Archduke Quentin, and he is married to Archduchess Ivy of Willow Creek. And in their marriages, so the king was married to Queen Janice. So that was the first royal lineage. And then, of course, they had their daughter, which is the now Queen Nolia, who is married to King Indigo. Then Nala had a son who is Count Damien, who is married to Countess Samara, who used to be from Del Sol, actually. And then the youngest had three children. His oldest was Countess Layla, who is now married to Count Greg II over in Oasis Springs. Her middle brother is now Count Jared, who is married to Countess Jade, who was originally from Oasis Springs. So it kind of was funny because it kind of did a swap. Different families in Oasis Springs. And then the youngest one is only a teenager, and she's Countess Abby. Then the next generation, which is the current generation I'm playing through, which when the first episode airs, he is the oldest of the great grandchildren from the original, and that is Prince Amir. He'll be turning into a child. So this is the first playthrough that will be on my Royal Let's Play. This will be their generation. So there's already been a couple of generations since then. But Prince Amir is heir to the throne, son of the Queen Nolia, and then his great second cousin. These are all second cousins. I finally figured that out because I was like, these are all cousins, so that makes these guys all second cousins. Is Marchioness Carmen, who is the daughter of Damien and Samara. And then Layla over in Oasis Springs, that's also why they're different colors than everybody else. Everybody else is in the Willow Creek colors. But these two are in the Oasis Springs colors because that's where they're born. And that is Marquise Nilius. I haven't changed their titles yet now that I know how to rename them. This also might be why hers wasn't fixed yet either. And then Marchioness Tierra. And then lastly, Jared had Marquise Dion. So that is the Willow Creek royal family. So I decided, why not? Let's go ahead and do everybody's family tree pre-season. Um, the Willow Creeks, however, it was the easiest to look at because I actually made like a parent sim for my first generation of royals in Willow Creek, whereas everyone else I just went in with who it is. So because of that, I can't click on somebody to see the whole drawdown, which kind of sucks. Kind of wish I had done that. That's okay though. So we're gonna start with, of course, the actual royal line, the heirs to the throne. Right now we have Queen Ruby, who is the monarch and married to King Jasper. Their son is Prince Laz, who is next to the throne. He married Princess Consort Pearl, and their son, and after, of course, Laz, the next in line for the throne, is Lord Grayson. However, Queen Ruby did have an older brother, which is Duke Reginald, who had no children and never married. And then the younger sister married Duke Gregory, and they had Count Gregory II, and he married Countess Layla of Oasis Springs, and they had these two children. So these two children actually have royal blood from both Oasis Springs and Willow Creek. They are royals to of royal lineage from both of them directly, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, there is Duke Rubius. There it is. He married, who is now deceased, Duchess Karen of Windenburg, actually. And then they had three children. The oldest was, well, these are twins technically, but he was born first. Count Cade, and then his twin sister, Countess Jade, married Count Jared of Willow Creek. So actually, once again, this child right here, Marquise Dion, is of royal blood. That's actually kind of cool for that little tidbit too. And then their youngest son is Count Lexor, or Lex for short. He's just a teenager at the moment. But yeah, this one's going to be combined with Newcrest and Del Sol because both families are very small. However, we have King Yao with his wife, Queen Evelyn. They had two daughters. Their eldest daughter was Princess Maya until she was banished, and she hasn't married anybody. And now the new heir is their teenage daughter, Princess Mara. And then he only had one sibling, which was a sister, and she married Duke Emmett, and they had four children. The eldest was Count Lee, who has married Countess Olivia of Newcrest. Her father was the Baron of Willow Creek. And then their second oldest was Countess Sky, who married Lord Maximum of Oasis Springs. So that is now where she is at, over there in Oasis Springs. Their next oldest was Count Glenn, and their youngest is Countess Jalissa. Gotta fix their names too. Count Glenn, however, married, like I said, Olivia, and has just had their child, Marquise Ryu. And Countess Sky had her daughter, which is going to be Lady Chantal. That's all there is for the Newcrest family lineage. It's mostly through the Archduchess. Alright, Del Sol time. So, if we go through the Queen Monarch, she's married to King Jordan, and they had three children. Two were twins, and then a little much later they had another child. So the oldest was Prince Legolas, which is the heir to the throne, who married Princess Consort Yuki from Newcrest, actually, is where she is originally from. And then their other twin was Queen Raven. Well, she's now Queen Raven because she married King Tala of Sulani. So that's where she lives now. She now lives in Sulani and is Queen of Sulani, which will kind of very much join up the nations. Well, not join them, but is a huge link between the nations now of Sulani and Del Sol because there are twins ruling over them. The brother is ruling over Del Sol, and the sister is helping rule over Sulani, even though she is not, of course, the actual monarch of Sulani. And then they have their child son, which is Prince Rico. Legolas and Yuki have already had two children. Their eldest son is Lord Marlon. By the way, this is his father, which was Sir Rohan, which was the knight of Newcrest, of the Newcrest family. He, after the death of his parents and his wife, his wife was first, and then both his father, and then it was his mother. So after all of that, and after his daughter moved out to marry the prince, he actually got married to the Bob Baker, which is a royal baker in Willow Creek. So they're living happily. It's very sweet. But they have Lord Marlin, and then his younger sister, Lady Kasumi. All right. Then we have Queen Raven, who has had her daughter, um, Princess Kaylee, with King Tala. And while we're here, I guess I might as well go ahead and just do Sulani's royal family, because that was it for Del Sol. So, the royal family of Sulani, once again, is also very small. The former Queen Nolani was married to Duke sorry, was not married, had a brother named Duke Kikoa. So looking at the Duke's family real quick, he was married to Duchess Carol, who is also from the royal family of Windenburg. But they had three children. The oldest was Moana, who married Earl Keith over in Oasis Springs. Then their middle child, now Baroness Aquila, had married Baron Orange Bailey Moon of Del Sol. So she went to Oasis, she went to Del Sol, and they still have their youngest son, Count Maleko. The game gave this name, so I don't know. And who still lives with them. They have two grandchildren. So Lord Colin is over from Moana and Earl Keith, and then their granddaughter Liliana Bailey Moon over in Del Sol. For the queen's side, she had two children. She had an oldest son, which became the heir when she died, because she died very young. She died as a young adult, okay? Um, so when he was a teenager, when King Tala was a teenager, that's when he became king. Um, and his little sister, Duchess Electa, was only a toddler when her mother passed. So she really doesn't have memories of her mother because she was young toddler at that, and she's a teenager now. But that's the whole Sulani royal family. Finally, we have made it to our last royal family, pre-episode 1, excuse me, once again, of the Let's Play, and that is of Windenburg. So we have Queen Liliana. Once again, I wish I had made them parents so that it'd be easier to go down, but it's okay. What's done was done. Queen Liliana married King Julian, who was an elder, and they had three kids. Their oldest was Princess Rose. Their middle child is Prince Kenneth, and then their youngest daughter is Princess Iris. And they're, of course, no children because she is only a teenager. She's about to grow up into a young adult, though, in about 3 days. She's a teenager and she's a child. Then her brother is Archduke Evan, who married Duchess Ivy, and their son is Count Alfonso, which is only a child. So, very small family tree here. And that's done.